Oh yes! Whoa! Yes, yes. Yes! Yes! Oh yeah, that's a good fish, guys. That's a good fish. Oh yeah. Whoa! Better, better, better! Better! Whoa! Whoa! Big fish! Okay. Oh my gosh! Holy moly! Bro! Alright guys, let's get right to it. Shimano TwinPower XD and FD. Which one is right for you? Well, you're obviously watching this episode because you are considering buying a good inshore reel, right? And that's what these are. The TwinPower XD and the FD, I would classify them as inshore or near shore reels. But it can be a little bit confusing to choose between the two because they are very similar and they have very similar features and function and all that stuff. But what sets these reels apart and which one is right for you? So guys, if you are comparing these two reels, you will notice that they share almost identical features, right? They have all the top end features from offered by Shimano. And the main difference between the FD and the XD is that the FD is an all metal reel. It has a metal body, metal rotor, metal spool. Whereas the XD has what Shimano calls an MGL rotor. So out of the Shimano's MGL lineup, the XD is the most robust and capable reel that they offer. Now, as I mentioned earlier, guys, these reels are best suited for inshore and nearshore fishing. Any inlet, jetties, off the beach, you know, that kind of stuff. So, I guess what is more suitable for you would depend on two things: the size of the fish that you guys regularly catch and the style of fishing. So, let's just look at the FD first. The FD is a great all-rounder, right? You really can't go wrong with this reel. It's a super strong and robust reel. It has an amazingly strong frame. I managed to hook onto some pretty decent GT with this reel, and at no point did I feel overpowered by the fish. You know, both these reels have amazing drag systems. They're very smooth. It doesn't matter how much you crank down on the reel, it will always release very smoothly. Because of the Shimano's cross carbon drags. And really, if you're a guy who fishes primarily off the beach or off the jetties and in your area where you fish, if the fish are on the larger side, I would say this is the reel for you. This thing will handle like pretty decent sized fish. I'm not talking about like massive monsters, right, guys? Don't turn up to a gunfight with a knife, right? So similarly, this reel is not meant to kill 25 plus kilo GTs, right? It's just beyond the capability of this reel. One thing that you will find, you know, that this reel lacks, or both these reels lack, is line capacity. And when it comes to Shimano, you know, I love their products, I love their reels. they perform well and the build quality is amazing. But one complaint that I always have is that their line capacity is on the low side, right? And typically with these reels, you will be using lighter lines. Like for example, with the FD, I will generally use 20-pound braided line, and with the XDs, I bring it down to 15-pound, and you will get 265 meters of 20-pound braid on this reel, and you will get just around 300 yards of 15-pound braid on the same spool. So keeping that in mind, if you're not too worried about the weight of your setup, and you do have larger fish in your area, I would say this would be the reel for you, right? Now, in contrast with the XD, if you are a freshwater fisherman, or you fish inshore and occasionally off the beach, and you are used to using lighter gear, I would recommend the XD. For me, the main advantage with the XD is the fact that because of the MGL rotor, the rotational inertia required to turn the rotor via handle is very little. I mean, there's just hardly any force needed to turn this handle, right? And why is that important? It's not so important if you are fishing heavier lures and stuff like that, but when you bring the size of the lures down, then this control that the MGL rotor offers you becomes really apparent, right? Especially, I mean, if you guys watch a lot of my videos, I love show jigging, and with show jigging, this handle control is very important, because every time you jig, you need to pick up just the right amount of line, and this rotor helps you to really be precise. Whereas with the FD, you can still show jig with it and use smaller lures, don't get me wrong guys, but the same control is not there. It just feels a lot different because you take a lot more force to turn this handle. So if you are using smaller lures, and you like to do fishing techniques like show jigging, I would highly recommend the TwinPower XD. Also, when you're show jigging, it's very important that you balance your rod and reel setup, and overall it's important that you need to have a light setup. So the fact that this reel is only 8.2 ounces, that really helps. That makes a difference. If you pair this XD up with a lightweight rod, I love to use this with my Century 7-foot Century Weapon Junior, which is an extremely lightweight carbon rod, and this reel pairs perfectly with that rod. That lightweight setup allows me to use the smaller lures, and especially the show jigging lures. It gives me a lot of control. So which one should you choose? Again, it's down to the fish that you find in your area, guys, the size of the fish in your area, I guess the variety too, because some fish fight harder than others, and also the type of lures and the technique that you prefer to use. I mean, if you're just a guy who likes to go out there and throw poppers, stick baits, heavier metals and things like that, and you do get larger fish in your area, then I would recommend this, because at no point will you be outgunned, unless you hook into a monster cheaty. Then I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to stop it, because but if that's your thing, then I would recommend to go with the FD. But if you are primarily a freshwater fisherman inshore and occasionally go on the beach hunting for, say, smaller trevally and things like that, and you like using micro lures or smaller lures, or you like to show jig, then this would be my choice. It's a great reel, and initially I was a bit worried about buying an MGL reel, because I know that an all metal reel is super stiff, right? And I wasn't sure about how rigid this whole setup would be with the MGL rotor, but trust me guys, I've put some pretty decent fish, say 17 to 20 pound fish on this reel, and at no point did I feel any flex or anything like that. When I needed to, I was able to force the fish in, and put some pressure on it, and it performed flawlessly. If you are going with a light setup and light lures, and you're primarily a freshwater fisherman or inshore fisherman, this XD is your ticket. If you do go and do target bigger fish, and you fish maybe inshore, inlets, and off the beach, and maybe even off the boat, I would recommend this. The TwinPower FD. It's very capable. It's a very strong and rigid reel, and really won't let you down. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Well, I won't say review, but this episode. Please consider liking and subscribing, guys. It would really help the channel out. And if you have any comments, please leave them down below. I would love to hear from you guys. And yeah, till next time, take care and tight lines.